Hi guys, on today's topic and Q&A with EasyCompanies here, we'll be talking about how to avoid burnout. Just briefly, you might be wondering why I'm wearing a beanie inside. I did the CEO sleep out last night for St. Vinny's. It was a good experience to really raise awareness of homelessness and understand the problems that I think it's 116,000 people face every day. So that was a really good exercise, and I'd encourage other CEOs to join into next year. Anyone can do it as long as you're a kind of manager or a CEO. So yeah, put it out there and check it out. I've had limited sleep tonight, but it's all for a good cause. So it's kind of ironic that we are talking about burnout and lack of sleep. But yeah, we'll go into that as we go along. So burnout is a very popular topic right now, and it's an interesting one that I hear a lot in the startup community, and a lot of founders are, talking about, what burnout means for them. But I can share my experience on burnout and kind of some of the lessons that I've learned along the way. So, for me, burnout has been a journey of, realizing that there's always that kind of, in a business, you kind of want to get somewhere. You have your big goals, your 12-month goals. And what I've found for me is that burnout is when I'm like pushing those goals too hard. I'm expecting that the business should be further along than it actually is. And it's that gap between where you are and where you want to get to that creates that friction and, wanting to be further along. So that's been my journey at least, and I think about 2 weeks ago I was actually bedridden and stuck in bed trying to succumb to what I had felt like a massive burnout, and that was just being overly hard on myself as a founder, like expecting that we should be doing better as a team and that we should be further along. And it was that realization that made me realize it's just kind of accepting like where the business is at the moment. So that's been my experience in burnout, and it's really knowing when to push yourself, but also knowing when to slow down at the same time. So I know for myself at least, sometimes you get that urgent, like that push of like energy, and you just kind of ride that wave, and you go further along into creative energy and creative forces. But other times it's knowing when to slow down and take a break and just take some R&R, like get into nature and take some offline time. So I also see these moments of burnout as a test of faith, and it really tests like how committed are you to your vision. And that's why the why is super important. The why of like why do you do this business? Why does the business exist? And if you truly believe in that vision, then those moments of crisis or burnout are merely just a test of faith if you're committed to that vision, and can you make it through the other end. And it's a good time to kind of recollect and remind yourself like why, what are the goals for the business, and can I have patience in kind of getting to those? Am I so committed to the longer term vision of the business that I'm willing to kind of do the work behind getting the business to that point, and not wanting the quick instant results now, which are commonly associated with that overnight success. It's so easy to kind of look up at other businesses and see how successful they are going and want to kind of be where they are, but you got to remember that takes a lot of energy and commitment to the business and the vision to get it to where it is. So comparison, when I'm kind of comparing, and when I'm comparing where my business is to where other businesses are, that generally leads to burnout as well, because it's like we should be further than what we are. So that's what I've seen, and I see that success is like success is a facade in my experience. Like you forget that we kind of have to go through challenges and problems to get to the other side. And when you overwork and you try to get there, you're giving up on the work-life balance. And you're kind of you're working so hard in the business, and you're working so hard that you forget to get sleep. You forget to get, the vital nutrients of eating. You forget to kind of find balance with family and spend time offline. That then you're just exhausted, you're fatigued, and then you lose that creative energy, and you come into work and you're just not there. You're not present. So I've had the moments of like the 3 a.m. wake up, and what I see the 3 a.m. wake up is, it's almost like the survival mode kicks in business, and it's like you've worked yourself so hard during the day that the body actually thinks there's actually a physical attack kind of taking place, and then 3 a.m. you just wake up wide awake, ready to kind of fight, and there's nothing to fight. It's just the mind's kind of running overdrive, and that's being amplified when I'm looking at my laptop late at night, and bringing my work into bed, and I don't have that time to kind of calm down the mind and calm down, like find stillness in the mind. So then, 3 hours later, I'm wide awake thinking about work again. So it's a lack of sleep as well. That being, it's not an anti-hustle movement, because I mean Gary Vaynerchuk is out there, promoting hustle, and I'm all for that. But it's like, it's not saying that isn't the case, but it's finding the balance. So yeah, it's like not bringing your iPhone into the bed, not bringing your laptop into the bed, and making sure that like night mode is on your computer and your phone, so that you're not getting that kind of blue light at night. And taking time offline to find stillness, and that's been my experience at least. So like on the weekend, I try to avoid work, and what I do is go out into nature instead, so that when I come back the next week, I have a fresh mind, a fresh approach to work. And I've actually found that less is more, and that the more grounded and the more mindful you are about the way that you're working, the more you actually get done. So it's kind of this illusion that you think working 18-hour days, you get 18 hours of work done. But I haven't found that's necessarily the truth. It's, getting 18-hour days is like 8 hours of work done. But, in that same amount of time, if you're not fatigued and you're not kind of overworked, you're actually more creative, and you can have better problem solving and better solutions. So yeah, there's a few questions that we've had on this topic. So the signs to look for when it comes to burnout. So you're looking for emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion, and it's caused by excessive and prolonged stress. So it's just that period of overworking, overstressed, wanting to kind of be further ahead than what you are, and then you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and it's really hard to kind of be present in meetings or meet those constant demands. So the main symptoms you probably experience if you have had burnout is like chronic fatigue, insomnia, forgetfulness. So, just not having that kind of space of mind in meetings and in your daily work activities, anxiety, increased illness, and loss of appetite. So we've come up with a few ideas of I, at least when I was thinking about this topic, was thinking about how to treat burnout. As I mentioned before, taking time off and taking a complete break from work. So 2 weeks ago when I experienced what I would say burnout, I just told the team, I'm not coming in today. I didn't feel that, as much as we had a lot going on, I felt taking that day off work would allow me to step back for a moment and reevaluate where everything is, and just get my kind of mental stability back on track, so then I could get back into work the next day and be more kind of grounded, rather than just that kind of pushing through and just getting it done. So a complete break from work, just switching off. Like I've told the team, not coming in today, don't email me, don't Slack me. And you can always ask the team for that. So the most important thing there is removing yourself from the situation and just having that time to kind of sit back and see what's actually going on. So we see the consequences of not dealing with burnout. It's that your quality of work is actually impacted. The ability to work creatively and problem solve comes from a state of being very, having the right sleep and being grounded. You're going to work more efficiently. And then the other thing is like you just feel unhappy when you're in these kind of states of burnout. You're not fully engaged and you're giving the wrong energy to the team, and then they're not happy. So that kind of spreads that energy. So in terms of reducing burnout, we've gone through it. It's working with a purpose, knowing the why, exercising, taking care of yourself, getting into nature, and being more proactive in terms of managing stress. So one thing that I practice really well is meditation and mindfulness. Those are really good techniques. If there's anything I would say you can do, just try meditating, try that 10 minutes of stillness, 10 minutes offline, and no phones, no nothing, and just sit for 10 minutes and just allow the thoughts to kind of get worked through. If you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself, go check out a yoga studio, or go to an actual guided meditation and like in person, because then at least you can ask questions and give feedback like, my mind's busy, and they can give you pointers on how to kind of settle that. I think also talking up is a big thing, and it's something that as founders we feel vulnerable to do, like actually admit like things aren't going okay, things aren't working. So I feel telling the team and being honest about what's actually going on is really helpful. And like being realistic about the overnight successes we mentioned before, and where you want to get the business. And just one final point is that something they run in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane, the Founder Lab, is this circle where you can actually go and talk to other founders and talk about things that you're facing in the business. And I think that's a really healthy space, because you can go in and just share the challenges that you're facing, and other businesses kind of bounce it back and go, oh, this is how I could fix that, or just being heard. Really good spaces, and online communities and things like that. So hope that wraps up the live stream today. And thanks for joining. So we do this every week. So if you haven't subscribed already, definitely go to our Facebook page, click like, and then you'll get reminders for these live streams in future. And if you are subscribed to our email list, we do email those out once a week. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you next week.